So I want to talk a little bit about the deal that happened yesterday. And it is massive. It's just freaking massive. Um, it's just massive. It's about it's about a foreign country, a fleet of airplanes, and a tidal wave of misinformation. No, it's a story that you're not going to hear fairly reported anywhere else. So you lean in close. We're talking about Qatar and its record-breaking $96 million deal with Boeing. And for some reason, this historic win for American manufacturing is being twisted as somehow a scandal. Scandal? A scandal? No, folks, it's a success. And it's exactly the kind of diplomacy that we should be championing, not questioning. Let's talk about why it's good for America. Why the fearmongers are absolutely wrong. And why this whole deal tells you something bigger about where the US stands in the world right now. All right, let's get the facts. Qatar Airways is buying 130 Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Holy crap. Also, 30 777s, 777s is what they call it, aircraft that they've secured an option for 50 more. That's a total of 210 brand new airplanes, all wide body jets, all built here in the United States. Again, the sticker price, about $96 billion, making this the largest wide body aircraft deal in Boeing's history. And who needs a shot in the arm more than Boeing right now? That's a generational contract. And the cool thing is that these planes are going to be built across the United States. The Dreamliners are going to be built in North Charleston, South Carolina. That's North Charleston, South Kakalaki. The 777s are going to be made in Everett, Washington. And of course, you can't have these planes unless they have engines. The GE9X and the GENX are going to be manufactured in Ohio and North Carolina. So yes, this is a coast-to-coast deal, but it's more than numbers. The deal represents over 150,000 American jobs annually. 150,000 American jobs annually. You know, and this isn't some 6-month make work project that that the government might throw out there like President Obama's shovel-ready jobs. This is real industry. So that's not Wall Street money. That's Main Street security. Jobs for welders, machinists, engineers, cafeteria workers, truck drivers. It's about real Americans going to work each day building the best flying machines on the planet. And let's not overlook the technology. These are state-of-the-art aircraft. They're more fuel efficient, more reliable, and designed for long-haul routes. They're the backbone of Qatar's future fleet. And Boeing is the one supplying that backbone. Wow. Now, here's what's really interesting. Qatar didn't have to choose Boeing. They have been a long-time customer of Airbus, Boeing's European competitor. But that relationship hit some turbulence. Hard. Airbus has canceled some orders. Qatar sued over paint issues. Things got nasty. So Qatar decided what any savvy partner does. They looked around for a manufacturer they could rely on. And guess what? They turned to the United States. This isn't just a transaction. This is a geopolitical statement. Now, folks, Qatar is a strategic partner for the United States. They host the Al Udeid Air, Base, which is the largest U.S. military base in the Middle East. And people who are talking about this, like, I don't know, out their rear ends, don't understand that the United States and Qatar already has a pretty strong relationship. They have backed U.S. policy in the region for decades. And now they've just signed the biggest aircraft deal in history. Now, with us, this isn't China. This isn't Russia. This is a trusted ally putting their economic chips on the American table. This is what happens when diplomacy works, when strength meets strategy, when America first becomes America succeeds. All right, let's break this down a little bit more. You know the headlines: $96 billion deal, biggest order in Boeing history. But what does that mean for people who will never fly a Dreamliner or visit Doha? Let me paint a picture. A single 787 Dreamliner requires over 2 million parts. Each of those parts comes from hundreds of American suppliers, from small businesses in rural towns to tech giants in major cities. So when Qatar writes that check, it doesn't go into one corporate account. It spreads like fertilizer in the entire American manufacturing landscape. And it lasts. This isn't a one-time project. These planes will be delivered over a decade or more. That means stable contracts, predictable revenue, long-term employment, and reinvestment into communities. In a time where people are wondering if American manufacturing still matters. This deal is a loud, resounding yes. And who was there when the deal was signed? Y'all know, President Donald Trump. Because diplomacy through business is what gets the job done. All right. Of course, there's always someone looking for a scandal. Lately, there's been buzz, some of it whisper campaigns, some of it outright reporting that Qatar, quote, gifted a Boeing 747 to the US, and it's being called a bribe. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Get serious. First of all, here's the deal. Here's the deal. When we're talking about the monarchy in Qatar, we're not talking about the Ukraine. Let's just be honest. We're not talking about the Ukraine. A 747 that they've had for a while is not a big deal to them. It's just a plane. They've got a lot of them. And this particular plane, let's do some history on this particular plane. This Boeing 747 8I was sitting unused. It's a highly customized VIP jet. They gave to the U.S. government, not to President Trump personally, not to some backroom shadow operation. The offer went through the proper diplomatic and military channels. It was reviewed, it was cleared, it was accepted for U.S. government use, possibly as a backup aircraft for diplomatic missions. Not as Air Force One. No bags of cash, no secret deals, just a transfer of a very expensive, barely used asset from a strategic ally to its most powerful partner. The government will still pay the maintenance, the retrofit to operate that aircraft. So it isn't free, it's smart. It's a kind of efficiency that we should expect more of. So the next time someone tries to tell you that it's a scandal, tell them to, I don't know, read a book, watch this podcast. This is diplomacy, Qatari style. This Boeing Qatar deal is actually a lot more than jets. It's about our friends, it's about who our friends are. It's about which nations still see value in working with America. Qatar could have gone anywhere. They didn't. They came here. They bet on American labor, American engineering, American power. And this isn't just a one-off. This is the kind of deal that sets a tone for future partnerships, more aircraft, more infrastructure, more energy development. While other nations flirt with China or try to play both sides, Qatar just committed to billions to our economy. Billions with a B. And that's worth noting. That's worth defending. Because when you cut through the headlines, here's the truth. Qatar didn't bribe America. They bought our planes. And in doing so, they backed our people. That's the kind of collusion I think that we can all live with. So there it is. Jets, jobs, and geopolitical clarity. This isn't a scandal. It's a signal. A signal that the world still looks to America when it matters. Don't let the cynics tell you any differently. Don't let the grifters twist good news into conspiracy. When American workers are building planes for the world and our allies are buying them, that's called a win. Full stop. Again, I'm Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. And if you've liked the show, please subscribe on this YouTube channel or on Rumble. Support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Morning Report. And spread the truth to whoever needs it. Until next time, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye.